Yeah, let's do the workout. Let's do the workout. Let's do Mallory's workout today.
Let's do Mallory's workout.
Mallory's workout today.
Okay.
All right.
Shall we just go? Should we? Our powers combined?
Yeah, let's go. Just jump right in, dude.
All right, we're just going to jump right in. Remember, Jamie, you picked that up?
We're doing this because you devised it as kind of like could be rehabilitative?
Yes.
Right.
So one of the big things that we're always trying to find in here is a hinge. And so this workout / session is more on the therapeutic side of things, but also can be translated very quickly into a session for somebody like Erin who's not dealing with any difficulties in either finding their hinge or hip pain. I would definitely say it's more on like the intermediate to more advanced side of things because you have to be familiar with how to move a kettlebell if we pull in for some resistance stuff, or definitely landmine work. But it's really great at trying to help somebody find either their hinge or doing what we call eccentric, so active lengthening of the muscles in the hip. Most people that have either hip, whether front or back, and or low back pain will oftentimes be gripping, so kind of this movement in the butt cheek here, and so this set of movements in combination can really help us release that without stretching, and that's the key. A lot of times people will try to stretch through this stuff, and it's not an issue of it's tight because it's tight. It's usually tight because either it's tired or tight because it's weak. So you're going to keep your back foot close on that hinge here.
The 1.5.
Yep. And then you're going to reach back through. Yeah. And if you don't keep that guy there really tight, she'll fall. So you're good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
So I'm going to do these with Erin as well so that I can like warm up. Perfect.
Zoom facing me.
Well,
you could do the same thing. Doesn't matter. Question for you, man. When you were deciding to ditch being an employee and become your own boss,
yes,
what tangible qualities did you feel were like, damn, like not everyone can do this because I need to have the grind and the hustle to be out and self-source and do all the shit. So what was it that made you feel like it was feasible for you?
I have very supportive family, husband and a very supportive brother. Shout out to my brother Brandon. That for years in the corporate physical therapy side of things were like, there are people that make good employees and there are people that don't, and when you get told that, you kind of think it's an insult. And the way that I was kind of being told is I'm not a yes man, and so a lot of times yes people do really well with being told like, hey, do it this way.
Yeah.
And they go, yep, and then they kind of keep trucking along, and I kind of tend to be a yes but. So sure, I'll do it that way, but what if I can find a better way, a more efficient way, something that's catering to the client better, any of the above. And so when really it was COVID where I started dipping into the not insurance-based physical therapy side of things, I had a lot of former clients that were afraid to go into a clinic situation where like, why don't you just start something like this? So I actually started doing mobile work first. And it just kind of clicked. I will say something that if you are going to go out on your own, you got to be able to talk to people about what you do. Because if people don't know what you do, they don't know to find you.
Yep.
So that's my big like spiel about that. You can take the 25 on a landmine. So we're going to come over here, facilitating hinge stuff. One of the big things to kind of not necessarily be protective, but really activate that posterior chain is packing in. So this variation of a row, Erin's going to demo it.
Offset or bilateral?
Bilateral for me.
Not here?
Nope, just bilateral, yep. Is a lat biased row here, because it works on anti-rotation fun as well. And so he's just going to pull to his heart's content. One of the things I think that he and I both recognize, and I'm going to go nice and easy peasy for somebody needing to experience rehab-based therapy or care, is this initial portion of a workout for both Erin or I, we really don't provide reps, mainly because my big thing is if you're locked in and engaged and can do something and feel it within 3 or 4 reps, there's no point in me giving you 15 of them.
Yeah.
Like at that point we're just wasting energy.
It's what I like to call junk volume.
Yeah, it is.
You're trying to just get the tissue that is as close to the muscle stimulus for the work or the KPI or whatever active, So I don't need 10, 12, 18, 15. I just need you to get the activation going
Great.
so that we can get that thing to fire to get the work going higher, faster.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect.
Okay, hip
Good
airplanes.
explanation. So we're actually going to do hip airplanes. A lot of people see these done on a rack, which I use a lot, but for somebody more advanced, Aaron is a perfect example of a more advanced person. You can actually do this on a wall, and this setup here, because you have to sit into the stance leg, but if you don't push back against with the other one, you kind of fall back. So you get this like push-pull action, and it really lights both sides of your cheekies up. And then we're gonna just airplane, lengthen those tissues, and then come back to neutral. If you're feeling extra spicy, you can try to open up. But really getting in this guy, and it's nice. And again, same thing. Normally I can do like 3 of these and I'm ready. Maybe 4.
5 was good for me.
Yeah. And then you swap sides. But yeah, I got tired of being told how to make people feel better by people who didn't know how to make people feel better. That was really why I decided to go into it.
How do you help people build that intuitive, like, you need to do this many reps, or when else is on?
I think
You have to restate it.
that's fair. So, question off camera was, how do you build that intuition, that intuitive kind of like, how do you find the right rep scheme for you? Initially, I do give reps, 100%, because most people are unable to feel what we want them to feel. After they kind of become more body aware, and they know exactly what we're looking for, or I'm looking for.
It takes sessions.
It takes time.
Like, it takes time. Like, this is not the gym that's like fast. This is like, hey, slow, controlled, figure it out, and we'll get to the awesome stuff.
Right.
But there's a learning curve here,
I agree with that.
I think like part of it too is like, I'm a big tactile cue person, and I'm not saying I'm gonna like fill you up at the gym, but if like Mallory's like doing this, I might be like, hey man, listen, when you get in there, give me these. Give me these, boom, pull your elbow down and back, give me these, here, good, give me these, and then you're kind of slowly giving them like, hey man, you feel that? You're pulling into your rear delt. Hey man, you feel that? You're generating force this way. And people will start to attach that, as they get better and more body aware, because you're cueing them with that tactile feedback of like, okay, I feel that muscle,
The other thing too, and I think this is a mark of a good physical therapist or a trainer, is being able to give verbal cues, not only tactile, but verbal, that's meaningful. So, i.e., it translates to meaningful, intentional movement. If anyone has ever seen me for neck pain, and we'll talk about like deep neck flexor activation, which that kind of goes side to side with some people, is I always give a story to get people to actually do what we want them to do. Because if you ask somebody to do like cervical retraction, they're like, they do really funky movements with their head and they look like a chicken. And then if you give them a story and then you ask them to do what they would do in the context of the story, more often than not, they go, ugh. And I'm like, that's
Yours
the move.
is like, someone needs a mint or something.
I call it
It's
the
like-
tic-tac moment.
Yeah, the tic-tac moment.
So you're
like,
at a club
"Ugh."
with your girlies or your homies, and that one lush friend who doesn't really get the invite but somehow still shows up, walks up and is like, what up, dog? All up in your face, and you can't move anywhere. That's the face you do. You go like that, and that's usually what people want to do.
Yeah.
But the context matters, and so like same kind of thing. Context matters with that, and then context matters with like tactile feedback and giving good verbal cues too. So I think like a combination of both. Helpful. But yeah, so that's literally
It's
our
the
work.
why, man. Like I always felt this way when I worked for Department of State. My thought process was this, like, yes, I could be an operational medicine instructor if I only had my paramedic, if I had only been a combat medic, if I had only done one of each thing, I could probably execute the teaching component by just reading it and giving you what the PowerPoint said. But the reason that I think you become very, very good at something is the extension beyond the baseline knowledge, because the questions that you get from a client or a student or anything always extend beyond that. They're always a layer up, 1 or 2 or 3 layers up from what the baseline expectation is. So you need to know that answer 1, 2, 3 layers up.
Yeah.
And for me, like we're teaching, like we're working with adults or athletes or people who have questions about their body.
Yep.
So I can't have a baseline knowledge. I have to have true information that extends beyond it. And that's, I think, part of it is being able to expound on information to help that client understand better their body.
I would agree with that. And I think the other thing too, just to like further punch this home, I had CIs, so clinical instructors, in my rotations that were insistent that if I prescribe something to a patient, I have to be able to perform it, which means I have to know what is actually being felt in the activity. And I think the same thing flies for trainers, in that if you're not able to perform the activity or haven't performed it, you shouldn't be prescribing it.
It's going to be very hard to explain what you want the client to feel if you have not
never felt it yourself.
Yep.
So,
or if you didn't actually go and like, I hate to say it, but like, let's do this real quick and explain.
So we're going to do a landmine goblet squat. You're going to cup this guy. I like to tell people to really get underneath, because if you have wonky wrists like me, this position doesn't always feel great. So it's kind of underneath our chin at our sternum. And then I just say keep that there, and then you're going to pull back and pack in just like we worked on. And then the nice thing is you're going to get low, and you're going to push your hips back, because this landmine is not going to let you keep them underneath you. So you can follow both Aaron and I. Aaron's got weight because he's going to make some power moves with this guy. I'm going to go slow, so tempo. With rehab, tempo is really nice because tempo allows somebody to see asymmetries, but also really lets somebody feel what should be working and not have to do a ton of reps with it. So that's why I really love tempo work for rehab-based stuff. It's hard to hide behind time. So me going this pace, I'm going about a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm doing about a 2-second pause at the bottom, maintaining tension, and then the same 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The nice thing is I only have to do about 5 reps of this, and I want to cut my legs off. Aaron just did about 8 with some power action in there, and feels really good and amazing. So I'm going to finish up this guy right here. I'm probably going to add a little more for our next set. And then we're going to combine this with an elevated pigeon that you can hinge through. So Aaron, if you want to do that. Right in here, this is lovely. You can add resistance or not. It's nice, but it's just another way to put our leg in a position to facilitate a hinge. You can see Aaron really emphasizing that hinge from
Can we give you any rotation and reach?
You can. Or you can reach forward and get rotation with it. So think, yeah, and then reach towards the corner. Doesn't take a lot with this one either, which is nice. And the other thing you'll notice, not a lot of static stretching, especially with this stuff. Not a lot of static. We don't want static. Good, swap it out, friend. I'm gonna add some weight to mine. But yeah, so with regards to like doing things before and kind of putting yourself into the mentality of it, it's a very popular conversation right now. We knew it was gonna come up, but like the Instagram trainer era.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that like, I know as a physical therapist I have to fight against, because I have a lot of clients that will come to me and be like, well, I did the 3 exercises that so-and-so on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever said would solve my sciatica. And I'm like, and let me guess, it didn't fix it, did it?
Well, there's no why behind it, right?
Yeah.
There's no progression behind it. You don't know how they got there, right?
Yep.
You don't know what the intent is. You don't know what the specifics are of each case or client, right? And a lot of people will take that at face value and they'll say, well, there's this 1 minute and 30-second blivet for me to try this, which in one respect, I will say, as someone working out and trying stuff, it's a great way to like save a workout, try to figure something out.
Right.
But if you're looking for like a coach or a good coach, right? Yeah. You got to remember, the people on there are trying to sell a product. Right. They're giving you a bit of that product so that you go buy more of their product.
Absolutely.
And the people who absolutely should not be programming based off of a 1 minute 30-second blivet are coaches and PTs and people like that. Because you need to be the subject matter expert to tell people why they're doing stuff. Correct. So when your whole training profile is built off of 1 minute and 30-second clips that you save on Instagram, that's not, who are you helping, you know, at that point?
Well, you're just stroking your own ego. at that point, big time. And I mean, I hate to say it, I have been in environments, whether it's like in a clinic or otherwise, where like I'll look at stuff and be like watching my peers and going, can you justify it? Can you tell me why you do it? You know, can you perform it yourself? Can you tell me what goal you're trying to attract here? And then the other thing too is like the stuff that goes into like whether it's improving overall fitness or treating an injury, it's not pretty. It's not bougie. It's not cool. A lot of it is like really boring stuff. And so, and the other thing too that I see a lot of clients from is, oh, well, I bought an online program, I tried it, and now I've got all these issues. What's going on? And then I go, cool, did we address any of the problems beforehand? No, I just did what the program said. Neat. So.
I had a trainer one time tell me, and you guys can restate this however you want, but that basically there's like the box hair dye version.
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually really good, Steph.
Yeah.
I've not heard that, but that's kind of it.
That's
yeah.
gorgeous. That's a perfect
And Steph
analogy.
said, the analogy is there's the box hair dye version of personal training and training and coaching, and there's the salon version, you know? Did you, like...
Absolutely.
I like that.
It's expensive.
No, 100%. Absolutely.
And like you're investing in your
Correct. Well, we invest in you guys and then you invest into yourself. And that's really hard because instant gratification is wonderful.
Yeah.
But this stuff doesn't take like a snap. It's definitely more involved. And so I was just talking about this with my client before we started, who's also like a healthcare professional. A question/comment was made to me out of curiosity, I think, more than anything, but it definitely was like moment. When I was like, oh yeah, I gotta leave. I gotta go home and prepare for work. I told you about this. And the person was like, what for?
Yeah.
And I was just like, I gotta prepare.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean? And I was kind of like, well, what do you think I do? And it was, well, I think you just walk in and just tell people to do exercises. And I was like, oh, no. That's not the case at all. Like I go home, I sit down, I look at what we've done in the past. I prepare based off of like performance indicators. I prepare based off of, qualitative indicators, how the person's been feeling lately and injuries, and then progress via work, all that fun stuff. And I'm like, that takes time.
Yeah,
like,
that's a good conversation, because I think a
people
lot
don't
of
see
times,
that.
and that goes back to the box dye versus the salon.
Yeah.
You could go get a training session with someone for $35, but they're going to walk in, chuck some stuff on the board, not know what you're doing with your progression, and they're going to give you exactly what you pay for. Whereas, you work with someone like us, and, I'm spending a very large amount of time deliberately programming.
Yep.
I'm looking at not just how much weight did you move, but how much complexity of movement can you handle, right? What are your range of motion capacities now and capabilities now? So there's a whole component. If you're doing this right, that's the value. That's what's built into the price tag. And I think people don't understand. They think I walk in, I chuck some stuff on a whiteboard, and that's not true. Now, after a while, when they're working with us, it's very clear that there's an apparent difference between what we do and what other people are doing out there,
Absolutely.
And I think from a business standpoint, the investment component that you just mentioned a second ago, every time I go to, I wouldn't even say my baseline degree, because we knew what I was going to do with that at the time. It's the same as you. Your undergrad was in one thing, my undergrad was in something else. But as you continue to get your master's, your doctorate, your additional certifications, your barbell rehabs, your functional kettlebell, your landmine, all your other things that make you an asset, that is an investment in your client.
Yeah.
And the goal for that is to recognize that I've made an investment in you, I've ascertained a high-level education, and I hope you'll make that investment in me.
Back in me.
Because at the end of the day, this is hopefully a long-term fix for your lifestyle,
Correct.
So there's a business componment here. Part of the investment for me was building this gym.
Right.
I could take clients in my garage, but how well can I price you, and how comfortable are you in my garage?
Right.
Or how comfortable are you in my gym,
Facts. I mean, that's the large thing for me. Is I do a lot of admin, we'll call it that, generic admin time outside of here. And all somebody sees when they walk in the door is what's on my paper. I have a little notebook of knowledge, I call it, my handy dandy notebook. And that's where everybody's stuff is written. But nobody sees the extra that I put into it the days or whatever before. And it wasn't, I don't think, meant as a slight when it was asked, but it was one of those things where I was like, dang, you really don't know like what goes into having a quality individual kind of guiding you through movement or through an injury rehab or anything like that. And so I always find it interesting. Sometimes people have sticker shock, and I get that. But it's one of those things where the sticker shock of a price per session or anything like that is scary, but it's also extremely, it should be indicative of the expertise behind the person. So like, I don't make people call me doctor, but when you work with me, you're working with a doctor of physical therapy. Technically, my name is Dr. Mallory. And I don't need to get into like a pissing contest or anything with people, but that's the facts. And I have a bunch of letters after my name that prove that I'm an expert in what I do. And so that's kind of the difference in being like Joe Schmo and somebody like me or somebody like Aaron, where it's like there's expertise in the letters behind the name. And even though the alphabet soup looks silly sometimes, or like really cool, that was time, that was financial input, that was synthesizing all of the information.
So really that's cool. Like almost like the first question I asked you was like, how did you know you had what it took? And I think part of it is like, you bet on yourself.
Yes.
You bet on you. And you're not looking for anyone to give you clients or to make your pipeline or to showcase your value and your worth, or, you know, I promote my own space. I promote myself. You know, I promote the trainers, like, you know, we work together, so it's a different thing. But I wasn't looking for like a gold gym to be like, oh, please funnel me clients and tell them I'm good. Like, no, I'm going to tell you I'm good. I'm going to show you why I'm good, you know? And like, I bet on me. I bet on me, dude. I was like, you know what? I'm going to get all this stuff, and I know that I can synthesize and utilize it to coach good. And it's been a good bet.
I think it has.
You know?
I think it's working for sure. We just went through our work. So typically work for people, it's usually 3 to 5 sets depending on what you're trying to do. I did tempo, so I'm not going to go super crazy on the sets, and he did power, so he shouldn't go crazy on the sets. This is why this was nice. We're going to follow it up with accessory stuff. One of the biggest things I find with people that have like hip, low back pain, history of ankle stuff that's impacting the hip is there's massive muscle imbalances and asymmetry. We've talked about this. It's when people kind of look at you and go, it's easier on one side than the other. Yep, there's a reason. And so this is where I'm kind of thinking about myself right now. When I have hip issues, I go, oof, it's time for me to like lift heavy with single leg work or some variation. So we're going to follow all that fun stuff up. We just lengthened the glutes, had some fun. Aaron threw some power in. Now we're really going to lengthen the glutes. We're going to make ourselves hurt in a good way. So we're going to do some Bulgarians. I'm going to do it without the weight to start, just so we can get technique. We're going to do some Bulgarians with internal rotation at the end and range. We're going to have our weights offset. So if you're not using a weight in this particular instance, just pop your arm up like so, because the nice thing is that your guide or your landmark is going to be your elbow to the working leg. Are you sure you want to use that guy?
It's okay. I have sneakers.
Okay. So you're going to come here. We're going to deep, deep, deep. And as we go down, we're going to twist towards that opposite leg and then unwind and come up. Biggest points that we should be following for pressure is through the heel and the big toe, big time, and making sure we're kind of sitting back into that guy, because again, we're trying to be glute, focused versus quad. And that internal rotation at the end there just really emphasizes that lengthening, which is so much fun. If you want to get a little extra at the top, I tell people to kind of think about unwinding to really get that full contraction at the end.
Ooh, coil. Heard that word before.
Coil and tension.
Coil.
Okay. So if you want, do you want me to get you like a 44 or a 53 or what?
I'll just do what you got there. We got a 40-something?
I got 44.
I'll just use that.
We're going to do 6 to 8, guys. So you want to be relatively heavy. I'll grab the 36.
I did the 52s and 62s earlier this week. It's my alibi for why I'm using a 44. All right.
As always, if you have like balance issues, you can use a rack or a stick. And also cut back. Ooh, I want to use the backup. You can cut back on reps, which is really nice. But yeah. Perfect.
Are you guys all thrown in?
Go for it.
With all your certs and all the stuff that y'all put into this and the money you invested, how do you show it to clients or like future clients to show that you're worth all those certs? There's people out there that have all these certs too that just haven't put in the work. So you guys are the real deal. How do you show that?
Aaron, you can go first.
For me, honestly, this sounds crazy because we just were like, don't get stuff off the internet. But having a presence on there has been pretty pivotal because 90% of people, that's where they go now. Now you can look at it through the spectrum of age. If you're looking at someone who's a little older, maybe mid-late 30s, 40s, 50s, they're probably going to Facebook first, right? Then you're looking at people going Google. Then you're looking at people going younger, little Instagram, right? Even still, maybe you're millennial age, like my age, Instagram. Then you're looking at TikTok, which is not necessarily my market, so I don't primarily put stuff there, right? Being real, because of the price tag of what we do.
Yeah.
So building a presence there so that you are someone that populates in a variety of ways. Building a funnel from like, if they find my Instagram, can they easily find my website? If they find my website, is there a call to action? If they find my website and they find my Instagram, when they find my Instagram, is there a call to action? Can they find me on YouTube? Do I have a presence? Can they find me on Google? Do I have a presence? And does every single thing funnel to a call to action? But in every single element, you're still always showcasing your skill set. And you're always highlighting your attributes. And you're always talking about, hey, I've done this, I've done that. And it's constantly just reaffirming to people, who am I? What is my story? What is my background? Why am I the coach for you? Constant reaffirmations, recycling content. There's stuff that I did months and months and months ago, but it still holds true today, where sometimes I'll reblast it out for new followers or people who just started finding me to see like, hey, this is what I'm all about. Just a reminder, guys, here's my story, here's my background, here's my gym. So building that presence was initially a big important part of it for me, and then getting people in and offering the ability to have a consultation and talk to them in the way that I know that I can talk to them, articulate points, be intelligible, tell them about my background. You're still in a business of selling yourself, so you have to be confident enough to speak about it. Like Mallory said a second ago, like, I got to be able to talk about myself. And it sucks because sometimes you're like, I found braggadocious, but like, you know what? I need to sell my business, and I need you to know why you're working with someone who's high quality.
Absolutely.
How about you? How were you able to do it? Like, how did you get them to know who the hell you were?
I was a little different than Aaron, so this is kind of a fun question. So while I'm explaining, we're going to coach Aaron through this landmine curtsy squat. Do you want to keep that weight?
I'll drop it.
You're only going to do like 6 to 8. He's like, I'll drop it. I'm going to take 10 off.
No, I'm going to take this off.
While he's fixing his weight. So he's going higher weight, obviously, so he's going to go fewer reps for this because, again, we're trying to do single leg stuff. My rehab side of things, we're going to up the reps, but I'm going to drop weight. And the same thing that we were warming up here, we're going to try to keep that knee towards midline, activating the adductors, which are an underestimated and undervalued group, and then reach behind with that other back leg.
I like to tell people to cheat the foot in if they can't figure it out.
Correct.
To create a hard angle, because you can brace against this, which is a beautiful thing about it, is you can lean into this and find that tissue.
So if you do decide to set this up at your own kind of leisure, use the big plates because it kind of gives you a guide to lean into, unlike myself here who picked the teeny tiny dude. But for me, mine was a little bit of a different story. So I actually started without social media. I sound very old, but
We're the same age.
I know, but I say that in a way that's like very boomery. But I kind of built my business by word of mouth, which if you are a small business, that like word of mouth is a big deal.
Yeah.
And that has like a lot of credence to it. So I kind of got my start that way. Again, fortunate to have family members that talk me up, which is great. And that's like, I think where a lot of the gym has converted to now is primarily word of mouth. Yeah.
People come in here and they hear us being muscle nerds and being like, blah, 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 dorky learning things.
Yeah.
And they're like, damn, you guys are like really smart. And they tell people like, go to that gym where they're going to take your fitness as serious as you do.
Yep. So.
And you grew up here, right?
Yes.
Does that help?
A little bit.
Because I'm an out-of-towner.
A little bit.
I'm a Yankee. So.
I would say it helps a little, but just like anything, proof's in the pudding. It doesn't matter how much people know you. If you can't back up your talk, you'll you'll lose so much credibility. Sorry, I'm going to take your spot. The big thing with Richmond, even though we're slightly out of it, is Richmond is a small big town, is what I call it. And so it's still very much based on who you know, how well you know them, and if they would recommend you to their grandmama kind of thing. And if the answer is no, you're done. So, I don't know. I did it that way. And I will say, I'm fortunate that as a result, I have clients on and off, obviously, because their end game is for them to not need me from the physical therapy side. I have clients that I had somebody reach out to me that I haven't talked to in 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, literally no contact. And they're like, hey, I have back pain, help. And I don't know if you remember me. I'm like, yeah, I got you. You're good. Yeah. So I mean, the fact that they had that good of a experience at the salon one time tells me that whatever we are doing, individual and together, it works.
Yeah,
for sure.
I've had a lot of clients come in who have worked with trainers before, and they found themselves either injured or not truly developing, or just even things like baseline evaluations of mechanics and postural movement patterns. And they're like, I've never done this. And I'm like, that's like step 1A1, man. We got to figure out what's going on. You never train deficiency. I think that's one thing I always hang my hat on. And even if that means someone comes in and they are just too imbalanced, too many deficits, they're not my client at that point. They become Mallory's client. Like if I had a client who had so many things, they would go to Mallory. That would be. I've had a couple clients that I've sent to her because I'm like, this is something that they need in specificity. I can work around it, whatever.
Right.
But if there was someone like that, I recognize, as a good trainer, you got to know your limitations. And I'm sure for you, at some point you're like, well, now you're not my client. You need to see a surgeon. And now you're not my client. You need to see the physical therapist. So, there's that piece too, where I think they recognize, hey, we're really here to help you. I'm not here to just be like, nope, you know, clients. No, I'm here to get you to where you need to be, and we just happen to have someone in house who can help you, keep you here with us, and doing what we do right by the client. That's important.
Agreed.
I think you guys need to touch on, but you're not training clients for national competitions or Olympiads.
Yeah. Tied into their life.
Or at the end, just be like, I'm not, be like, clients do they have any bigger goals and pain free?
Yeah. All right. So I'll set that one off because I always have that opinion.
I
do. Yeah.
We're only doing one more set of this.
Okay.
This is it.
All right. Let's wrap with this piece and then I'll finish and then she can drop. I think one of the big things too is a lot of people that showcase themselves online, they showcase themselves working with their highest level client, doing the highest level execution of a movement, which it gatekeeps it for a lot of people, because a lot of people are like, that's not for me, I shouldn't do that, I can't do that. Most of my clients are regular folks. I have people that are athletes, and I've worked with boxers and people like that, and jiu-jitsu people, but most of my clients just want to move better, live without pain, move without pain. Yep. I mean, if you can't gatekeep this, because you'll close the door to the people that need it the most.
Yeah, don't be a barrier to access. I keep finding myself saying that lately, whether it's different aspects of life though, but a lot of my clients have migrated to the longevity. I think the nice thing about the recent health and fitness push is people are becoming more aware that, I'll say, intentional movement for the health of the body is actually the best medicine. And all the research that's coming out that's saying having well-developed and muscular legs increases your longevity and decreases overall mortality and increases functional independence later.
Is grip strength. How much can I grip in life?
So I think that's a big deal. And when people find me as a physical therapist, usually that's the barrier, pain. Yeah. And so I have to take that into account because I do want to work towards that longevity stuff. But at the end of the day, I have to address the initial pain, dysfunction. And
health-centric, I think. For me, I think that's how I look at okay, I always talk about these characteristics of strength, hypertrophy, conditioning, athleticism, freaking mobility, that's fine, that's great, they're important. But if the bedrock of everything is strength, then all the space around that little pyramid is health.
Yeah.
It needs to be health-centric programming, so everyone needs to be healthy. It's
Yeah.
not like just you should be healthy. Like,
Right.
we all need to be healthy, man. We all need to be moving and doing.
And I think I said it last time, and I think it bears repeating. My goal as a physical therapist and or trainer is that you should never have to question your body's capability. So if something, you get confronted by like a physical task, the question should never be, can I do it? The question should be, do I want to do it?
Yeah.
And that's a huge difference for people, especially if they've experienced pain or chronic pain. Having the ability to know we're capable and then making that decision, okay, like, well, do I want to or do I not want to,
Yeah.
is a very different thing than being being confronted with someone and then being like, I'm not capable.
Yeah.
I can't do that. And I think in this space specifically, the capability question is being asked and answered all the time.
Yeah.
Yes, you are capable, whether it's through like coaching people up, making them feel empowered, but also being like, yes, you can do this. Yes, you should do this. And then like, how does this translate into being able to say yes a lot more outside of here?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
We want to make you a yes person.
We want to make you a yes man in a good way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of the way it goes, I think. So,
That's good.
but yeah, you're catching the tail end of this workout. If you want, you can like, save, share.
Yeah.
It's a
and
lovely
go
little
back
thing
to the
to do.
beginning and listen to how we started it. Because
Yeah.
priming and prepping for movement is just as important as the movement itself.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
We say that a lot, and I keep saying that to a lot of my athletes right now. Preparation and recovery are as important, if not more important, than performance. Because if you don't take either of those first two seriously, performance will decrease and then become non-existent.
Yep. Yeah, man.
Heck yeah. Ooh. Oh, that was so
Nice one.